Shalom. I just want to start off by saying, Kah Halayim no Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ruach. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Grand Millstone. Peace and citations to hopeful elect and the Ak and spreading his truth throughout the four corners of this earth. My name is Asher Allah. And today I just want to talk about John 1, 11 to 12. It's in our little camp read. So why not just give some edification on it? This is John 1, and I'm going to just start at verse 11. And it says, he came unto his own, and his own received him not. Who is it talking about? It's talking about Yahweh Shai. Now, the way Vocab Malone is breaking this down, he is saying that he came unto his own nation, and the whole nation rejected Yahweh Shai, which is not true. Verse 12, but as many received him, to them gave he power to become sons of the Most High, even to them that believe on his name. Now, reading it in the NLT, as Vocab Malone read it, but to all who believed him and accepted him, he gave the right to become children of the Most High. And he was emphasizing, but to all, meaning that the other nations, since the nation of Israel rejected Yahweh Shai, but to all the other nations who believed in him and accepted him, he gave the right to become the children of the Most High. That's how Vocab Malone is breaking it down, and it's completely wrong, because we can pull up scriptures. We just go to this Psalms 147, 19 and 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So he has not dealt so with any other nation. And going to Malachi 3 and 6, says, for I, the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. So the Lord doesn't change. The Lord doesn't deal with any other nation. He's only dealing in the midst of Israel. Referencing that Joel 2 and 27. He is in the midst of Israel. So going back to this John, going back to this John 1 and 11, he came unto his own, and his own received him not. Let's break that down on what that's talking about. Matthew 13, and I'm going to just start at verse 54. Verse 54, it says, and when he was come into his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, and so much that they were astonished, and said, whence hath this man this wisdom and these mighty works? So when it says he came unto his own, back in that John 1:11, he had came unto his own, and his own received him not. It's talking about when he had returned into his hometown, when he had came back to his home country. Verse 54 in the NLT, he returned to Nazareth, his hometown. When he taught there in the synagogue, everyone was amazed and said, where does he get this wisdom and the power to do miracles? Verse 55, the people started scoffing. Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary, and his brother James and Joseph and Simon and Judas? It's reading in the NLT. Then they scoffed. He's just a carpenter's son. And we know Mary, his mother, and his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas, and all his sisters. Going back to the KJV, verse 56, and his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then hath this man all these things? And they were offended in him. But Yahushua said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house. So they started scoffing. Oh, he's just a carpenter's son. We like these people, they grew up with Yahushua. So growing up and seeing, how he was day to day, they started scoffing like, ain't his brothers, James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas, isn't his sisters here? And his mother Mary? And ain't he the carpenter's son? And they were offended him. They were offended in him, And Yahushua was that the stumbling stone, the rock of offense to them. But going back to this verse 57, it says, and they were offended in him, but Yahushua said unto them, a prophet is without honor save in his own country and in his own house. So he was saying a prophet is honored everywhere except his own country and his own house, man. His own kinsmen, his own people that grew up with him, and people that grew around him, and even his own household, man. Because out of his brothers, it was only James and Jude, which they call it Judas, but it was only James and Jude that believed, So going back to this John 1 and 11, it says he came unto his own, and his own received him not. So his own was offended. They had scoffed him when he spoke in the synagogue when he went back home. Verse 12, but as many as received him, to them he gave power to become the sons of the Most High, even to them that believed on his name. Now you, with vocab breaking this down as to all nations, since the nation of Israel rejected him, that all nations was open to become the sons of God. That's going off, and that's false, man. Because we just read earlier that, the Lord has not dealt so with any other nation. So what is this talking about? First, we'd have to go into history a little bit, but let's go to this Jeremiah 17 and verse 4. It says, and thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, Salakia, which shall burn forever. So we was eventually going to discontinue from our heritage, discontinue from our inheritance in which the Lord gave us, our heritage in which the Lord gave us, And in doing so, going into the Maccabees, let me start at First Maccabees 1 and 11. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. And then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. So this is us discontinuing from our heritage, man, because you have wicked men, who went around persuading many, saying, hey, let us go make a covenant with these heathen, man. Because when we are around the heathen, we have much sorrows, man. So they went and sought after the customs of the heathen, building a place to exercise, forsaking the holy covenant, and doing mischief. But jumping down to verse 41, and it says, moreover, the king Antiochus wrote unto the whole kingdom that all should be one people, and that everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by the messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary, and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beast, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end that they may forget, Salaki, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whoever should not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. So, our people, fell away. Our people forsook the holy covenant, and then it was eventually decreed that all people should come under one religion under Antiochus. Antiochus Epiphanes of the fourth. and so they left the holy laws, left their own customs, and did customs according to the heathen, man, polluted the temple, polluted the sanctuary, and forbid all the clean offerings, and followed after the strange laws, of the heathen. So therefore our people was cast away, man. The Lord wasn't dealing with our people, man. And even going into let's see, even going into that Hosea 1:9, then said the Most High, call his name Lo on me, for ye are not my people, and I would not be your power. Yet the number of children, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And that shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it should be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. But going back up, the Lord wasn't dealing with us, But verse 9, then said the Most High, call his name Lo on me, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your power. So when Yahushua came back on the scene, he gave adoption to those. He gave he gave adoption to those that were castaways, man, that followed after the heathen, and we can grab that in let's see, Galatians 4 and verse 4. But when the fullness of the time was come, the Most High sent forth his Son, made of a woman, made under the law, showing that showing that Yahushua had a birth just like anyone else, coming out of a woman made under the law, and what laws did she keep? She kept the laws of separation, of purification. She kept the laws of purification, Salakia, Verse 5, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoptions of sons. So this is the key point, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. Let's read that in the NLT. The Most High sent him to buy freedom for us who were slaves to the law, so that he could adopt us as his very own children. So, and who was those under the law, which he came to redeem? We going back to the Psalms 147, 19 to 20. For he showeth his word unto Jacob, and his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Showing that the whole totality of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, is who he showed his word and his statutes and judgments onto. So going back to that Galatians. Going back to that Galatians, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoptions of sons, that we might receive, that we may be adopted again, that we may be adopted. Slakia. So going back to this John 1:12 says, but as many as received him, he gave Salakia, but as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of the Most High, even to them that believed on his name. You know, so those them that received him, you know, has to be Israelites, man. You know, even going to this Romans 9, and I'm gonna start verse 3. For I could wish I myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption. Whoa. Let's read that again from verse 4. Who are Israelites, so you have to be an Israelite, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of the Most High, and the promises. You know? So you would have to be an Israelite in order to receive that adoption. So it wouldn't apply to these other nations, the heathen nations, man. And that's a cold cut right there, just with that Galatians. So hopefully that was edifying. I just want to end up by saying, call Halayim La Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Kakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone. Peace and salutations, all for elect, and I can spread this truth throughout the four corners of this earth. Shalom.